Hopefully everybody can hear me okay, see me okay. Mark Blanchard, can you see everything okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see your screen.
Good. I'm assuming therefore that everybody else can as well. That's good news. Okay. Welcome everybody to today's webinar. Apologies for embargo weeks, but the two of us had some vacation booked at the end of May. You've been encouraging us to take regular days vacation for our mental well-being, to us out of the house for a little bit, which has been greatly appreciated. So for the delay, we'll be back later this month with a webinar. So everybody's well and safe, and welcome to. I think this is our third lockdown webinar. And today we're going to have a look at templates, and this is part one of two parts to our template webinar session. Mark and I started looking at this a couple of weeks ago and decided that really we should continue this over two consecutive sessions. There's a lot to do in templates, and today's is really an introduction to what we provide in the UK data set, and and how you can start manipulating templates, creating your own, and some simple operations with templates and end conditions. There's a lot more to it, so extend templates over two sessions. So today and again on the 25th of June, so 2 weeks today, we'll be doing some more complex template manipulation. What are we going to look at today? Introductions and housekeeping, which we always do, and then we'll have a look at templates, overview in the UK data set, which I'll be doing, and then some basic template creation, which Mark's going to have a look at, and then I'll be reviewing end conditions and some very simple end conditions and what end conditions actually mean. And then I'll be looking at the online resources, and we'll give you details of the next webinar. So there's our introduction and housekeeping. So as always, the session is being recorded. So as part of your registration, you should automatically get a message that the session, that the recording is available to view. Any problems with that, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. So. Templates and overview and the UK data set. I'm just going to run through the PowerPoint first, and then we can get on with seeing things in action. So really, what are templates? Well, templates are the ability to allow you to create your carriageways and your earthworks, your end conditions, and anything else that you need to form the highway. They are a collection of features, and they are grouped together, and constraints and parameters are added in order to create the highway backbone, and also attach the end conditions to form the earthworks. For those of you with an MX background, really it's a bit of a graphical way of forming an input file or the design also for end conditions, interface options, the 260 options, 260, 261. So for those of you with an MX background, really these are the nuts and bolts of the design tools, design 100 options and the interface 260 options. So where do they come from? Well, they're stored in a file called an ITL file, and we have, as I say, in the UK data set, created some ones in accordance with the latest technical design standards, the standard templates that we have, and we'll have a look at those in a second. Mark's going to have a look at some basic creation, so the end template editor, how points are dealt with, what components there are, any constraints that you can apply to your template, how to display the template, and then what we're going to look at is some basic creation. So really, we're going to show how to recreate some of one of the standard templates that we provide. So it's really giving you a basic overview of how to create a template. It may look a bit overwhelming to start with, but really, if you apply logic to how you create your template, it's really no more complicated than trying to put an input file together with with some knowledge of line mode. So it's just a case of learning a new way of putting together your data. The advantage of this, of course, is it's quite graphical and you can see what's linked together, and there's also the ability to test the template as you're going through to make sure it's producing what you want. And then I'll be looking at end conditions. What are they? It's really interface, different types of points. There are some subtle differences in end condition components as opposed to normal template components, and the ability to apply priorities. Again, that's some of the more detailed options available in MX in interface options 261 and 262, and 260 as well for the order with which you actually apply the interface. And I'll look at a couple of very simple examples. There's some online materials here. The Communities has quite a significant amount of information on creating templates, and also there's a really good learning path to do with template and end condition creations as well. So it's very worthwhile having a look there. Okay, enough of me talking. I'm going to have a quick look through the what's in the UK data set and some basics on template design. So we have, as I mentioned, we have the templates are stored in something called an ITL file. It's a template library, the ITL, and it's stored where a lot of the other data is stored in the UK workspace under Program Data, Bentley, OpenRose Designer Connect Edition, Configuration, Organisation, Civil. And if we look in the UK standards, there is a template library here, the Civil Templates UK.itl. And I think we looked at the configuration in the past, so workspaces, etc., but you can configure this to pick up an ITL from pretty much anywhere you want, even on project basis as well. But this is where the default installation is for the UK Civil Templates library, and it's called Civil Templates UK.itl. And it's a good starting point to base your any templates you want to create on. So what have we got in there? Well, in order to actually access the template library, we go to the workflow is Open Roads Modeling, Corridors, and Templates here. And if we click on Template, then we have, as you can see, this is the template library that we have, the UK ITL. And if we look, you'll see here that we have some default ones, so there's some components that we create, and these are all in the defaults that we supply for training, etc. So, for example, in the templates, you'll have some demo, and there's some urban demo data as well. So there's lots of sample ones that you can play around with. But also under here, you'll see we have the UK standard templates. So rural all-purpose, dual 2 lanes, dual 3 lanes, link roads, single carriageway, slip roads, wide singles, and wide single with a climbing lane as well. So these are all taken from the latest standards for rural all-purpose. There's also rural motorways, dual 2 lanes, dual 3 lanes, etc. And obviously the same for urban as well. And I'm not going to go into any of these with great detail, but this is where you actually see which templates we supply. You'll notice that in some of the default templates that we supply, for example, demo 2 lanes, there's these extra lines. These are the end conditions, so the earthworks that you create. So for demo purposes, we've got some templates with earthworks on. You'll notice that for the ones that we supply, there are no earthworks on, because, in all honesty, it was decided that earthworks aren't necessarily going to be a standard for every template. So really all we've done is provide the backbone here for our templates, and we expect that people will create their own end conditions, i.e. interfaces, earthworks, on a per template basis. So there are some end conditions, some standard end conditions that we supply, cut and fill, and some ditches, which you can look at and copy onto your templates. So there's plenty of scope for using some of the sample ones that we supply here. It really was left to people to finish off the templates with their own particular earthworks. Look, just a few more bits and pieces before I pass that over to Mark. You can the way the template actually shows is the way it works is you have a right-hand mouse button which allows you to add new components, etc., etc., and also you can actually turn off the display points names if you wish, just for a bit of clarity, and you can display all or none of the components if you wish. I think that's all I've got to say to start with. So I think I'm going to pass over to Mark now, who's going to look at how to create some simple templates. So if I stop sharing now, Mark.
Yeah.
Hopefully I've stopped sharing, so you can share away. Yeah, you can share away. I'll put myself on mute.
Okay. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, not quite yet. Yeah, I can see your screen now. So away you go, Mark.
Okay, so hello everyone. For my part, as Simon said, I will show you how to create a basic corridor template. So the part outside the end condition. And we're going to use some simple elements like the components and the points. So as you may be aware, a template is based with 2 elements. So you have your components. So that will be the shapes between the different points and the points. And then these elements can be just simple layers like this for instance, your pavement, your verge, or anything, or end condition, as Simon will show you. So when you have to create your template, you will first create. You can do it in 2 different ways. Let's say you can create a simple component. So basically, it comes like this. It will insert inside your drawing a component already defined with the different points and the shape linking these different points. Or you can also insert directly if you want to create something more complex, you have the possibility to create a constraint element or unconstraint. Basically, if you want the points to keep the constraint based on the previous point, so that's your choice. And then you have the possibility to create a null point. So basically just one point that you want to place inside your template. And condition will be the part that Simon will demonstrate after. Overlay, it's when you have an overlay to create your stripping, but we are not going to review it today. And a cycle, if you want to create one. So how does it work if you want to create your template? You go and you will end up with this template library explorer here. So you can see what is inside your library. And you will have the possibility to create, if you right click in it, a new folder and a new template. let's say we want to create a new folder for this webinar. So let's call it a webinar. And in it, we're going to store all the different elements we want for our template. So first, let's have a review with the different tools you have. So Simon showed you this one. So that's the one you use to create your template. And then you have some tools also to help you to edit all your elements. So you can override the names, the component names, the feature definitions. So you can assign the feature definitions to different points instead of doing it one by one. And then at the bottom, you have some options. With the options, it's basically how you want to name your points and your components. For the components, you have two options. You can name it from the feature definition. In the feature definition, you have a kind of a seed name, and you may, if you check this one, you will use this way to name your components, or you can specify a new one if you want something different. For the point seed names, you got here all the list of the different points you can use, but it's not restrictive. It's just a guide and help to be sure that you select you don't mistype any name. So you can just go browse the list and add if you need to new one. So for instance, we want by default that the point seed name is EOP for age of payment. And here you have the possibility to add affixes to the names. Basically, it's to distinguish left from the right when you're creating your template. But you can also uncheck it if you don't want to make such distinctions. And the last one is the grid. So to define the dimension of the grid to help you create your elements. To start with, I will unlock it. I will explain to you after a while. And the last thing we want to have is the dynamic settings. Basically, it's a